I want to share with you something personal today. When your child has asthma, or not even just asthma, if your child gets sick and you want to take care of them, there is this thing called mom guilt. Every mom knows what it is. Everyone who's not a mom jokes about it. But it's so real and so true, and I really suffered from it this morning. Part of it is because I'm human, like that is natural. Part of it is also because I'm hormonal. That is part of being a woman. And as I get older, some things are not as easy to manage with my emotions as my body changes. So my 9-year-old son, I came home from a trip with my daughter. We were gone for almost 2 weeks. And he missed me so much. Like, I used to make fun of mama's boys, and when I had a son, I said, you know what? I'm raising a mama's boy. There is truly just something about the connection between a mother and a son I never knew existed, and I'm so grateful for it. And all you boy mamas out there, you know what I'm talking about. Well, anyway, he was sick when I came home. He had a stuffy nose and a cough. And we tested him for COVID, and he was negative. We decided to just kind of nurse it, wait and see what happens. This was 2 days ago. Yesterday, he stayed home from school and still had a runny nose, lots of, sneezing and blowing his nose, just like the yuckiness of a head cold. But I was going through some selfish things. I really just wanted some time to myself. He was home from school. Of course, I missed him. But I'd been nonstop with, my daughter for 2 weeks, and I just wanted a few hours of nothingness, and I couldn't get it. Like the demands of the house, the family being gone, even the dog was just so clingy, I should say. So I was just kind of frustrated. I was short with him, unfortunately. I wanted to catch up on some things that I had already set my mind to. He asked me repeatedly to sit with him and play a game or to watch a show or just to cuddle, and I would do it, but I would kind of schedule it. I know this sounds horrible, but this is just me. This is reality. This is my truth. This is my confession. And then when his sisters got home from school, I was grateful for the reprieve, and then I kind of just retired early last night. I made dinner for everyone. Well, this morning, fast forward to this morning, and he's still not well. And his throat, he's complaining of a sore throat. I made him tea, decided to keep him home another day, and then it progressed. So he's not blowing his nose as much anymore, but it has progressed now down to his chest. And with asthma, that is not a good thing, because even though we've eliminated triggers around the house, so he doesn't easily get triggered or attacks every day, about once or twice a year he'll get sick, and that cold will travel down and create the inflammation in his lungs, and his lungs just don't know how to handle it. So we ended up doing a breathing treatment this morning. He started with the inhaler last night and again this morning, and then his oxygen levels got down to 92, and we had to do a breathing treatment. And I don't know exactly where my mind was before that moment, but it was a beautiful reset. It was a beautiful opportunity for me to be reminded of what was really important. It might have been God just saying, hey girl, wake up. Like, your son needs you, and everything else can wait, because whatever you may tell yourself about what's going on around the house or your work or your husband, your son is sick and he needs to be comforted. And the guilt started to settle in when I realized how snippy I'd been with him. I know I've learned over the years that stress can also trigger an asthmatic. I know it sounds silly because you think asthma, you have an allergy to something physical has to attack them or trigger them or make them sensitive, but emotions can do it too. I don't think that I caused his asthma attack this morning. I do believe that me being impatient with him did contribute to it. And I know why I've been impatient, because I haven't been taking care of myself. I haven't scheduled time alone. I haven't worked out. I haven't journaled. I haven't even done any yoga. Like I've been go, go, go and on vacation and focusing on everyone's needs. And it boils down to, because I haven't been taking care of myself, my son got sick, and then I took out my stress on him. And I believe that made his situation worse, because he didn't have any attacks yesterday. He had a little bit of struggle breathing last night after spending the day with me, being stressed out with him. And then, of course, this morning, my husband came in and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not okay." And he thought it was about him. Unfortunately, that miscommunication happens sometimes, but I didn't want to go into, he said, "Do you want to talk about what's wrong?" I said, "No." My son was sitting right next to me. So then it caused a rift between us, because I didn't want to express all of this in front of my son, because my son is completely innocent. He's done nothing wrong. I already was feeling guilty of not being enough for him. And I know, like, I'm doing the best I can, but it's just, it's hindsight. You look back and you see, what could I have done different? So my husband, we found a moment to speak quietly, which I probably wasn't quiet, because there was a few swear words going on, and it wasn't because I was mad at anybody but myself. It was just frustration, and sometimes when I am frustrated, it's kind of a good release to throw a little F-bomb out there every now and again. Not that I approve of my children doing it. I just mentioned, if you hear it, it doesn't mean you can say it. So I was able to express to him that I'm just burnt out, and I haven't taken time for myself, and that I feel really guilty. Not only that I'm not able to give my son the care and attention that he needs right now, but the affection and assurance that will keep him calm and not exacerbate his asthma. I am sharing all of this just to let you know that if you've ever gone through this, or if you're going through it now, you're not alone. I think it's just part of the process. It's part of being human. Being able to meet everyone's needs all the time is not normal. It's not natural. It's not something that we were made for. That's why we need others. We need a village for our children. And I love that I do have the support of my husband, and he was able to listen to me to where I felt heard, and I was able to just kind of quiet my mind enough to be in the moment when the attack did happen today. I was able to get everything down with our asthma plan, hook up the machine, get the albuterol, and get that going so he could do his breathing treatment. And we're just going to have to monitor him for the rest of the day. I'm thankful that we still had the oxygen, I forget what it's called, the little thing you put on your finger to check the oxygen levels. So when we first started, it was at 95, and then it went up to 96, and then 95, and then 96 again. And then I had made him some eggs and toast. And he got up from the couch, and he walked over to the kitchen to get his food, and he was out of breath and struggling to breathe. And he's like, "I want to check. I want to go get that thing for my finger." He didn't really say all that, because talking has triggered a cough. And so he just kind of motioned for it. He went back to the couch, he put it on his finger, and he brought it to me, and it said 92. I said, "Oh, yeah, definitely time for a breathing treatment now, bud." After the breathing treatment, we hit 98. It went right up to 98. He was able to eat his breakfast, and now he's back on the couch enjoying some show or something or another. And I don't feel as guilty right now, because I, explained to him that I was going through my own stuff, and my impatience had nothing to do with him. He's done nothing wrong. So I think that communication, when we lose it, or we're not 100% there, or they sense our stress, I think it's very important that we let our children know that it is not their fault. It's something that we're going through or having a hard time processing, and hopefully that can take some of the pressure off, because I remember when I was a child, I still am some days, but I remember when I was a little girl, and when my mom would get upset. I put a lot of it on myself, but I never discussed it with her. So I try to make my kids, when she would get upset, I would blame myself because I thought I did something wrong, but I would never ask her. And that sat with me for a lot of years. So with my kids, I try to let them know that my emotional maturity or emotional state of mind is not their responsibility. It's something that I sometimes need a little bit longer to process through if I'm not even keel. And so I try to take that burden off of them because I don't want them to carry that weight themselves. So if you do lose it, give yourself grace first and foremost. And then once you feel that you've recovered and you're in a good place, express to your family or your child, whoever it may be, that it was something you were going through and they're not to blame. And then we carry on, and then we move on. And then if the what hits the fan again this afternoon, I'll process it again, and so will he, and we'll just keep going through it. I pray that in the future God works on me so that in the times of me being needed, I was proactive enough to take care of myself so that I could be in the moment and present for their needs. Thanks for listening to me today. Shoot down in the comments if you have any thoughts on anything that I shared, if you have any opinions or personal stories. It's, I'm here to tell you you're not alone, but I would love to hear from you that I'm not alone too. Have a blessed day.